Regency Security proudly sponsors combat sport on Mustard TV. We keep the guard up so you don't have to.
Our fifth bout of the evening is a middleweight contest consisting of 6 3-minute rounds. Please welcome to the blue corner, William Warburton.
It's a long trek south from Lancashire for the halls at Norwich, here for Norwich Fight Nights on Mustard TV, but that's the journey William Warburton has made.
And he's come with his mustard shorts.
Good spot, Phil. This is a man who has been in the ring a lot, 29-year-old. But with all due respect to William Warburton, this home Norwich crowd is more interested in seeing how Joe Hurn goes about his business.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Michael, you know this is one of the fights that I was looking forward to most. Joe is definitely an explosive fighter. Usually fights in black and red shorts, or black shorts with a red trim. Looking like the normal setup as he comes into the ring.
He's not let you down on his colour scheme there.
No, he hasn't.
So we've got a fighter in Joe Hurn who, in 8 professional fights.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, Joe, 8 fights, all wins, and 5 of them by knockout. So, or actually, I'd say 4 of them were knockouts. One was the other boxer retired. So he stopped 5 of his opponents, basically, in the open scene.
Certainly more than enough quick stoppages for Joe Hurn. He looks got a little glint in his eye tonight, I think it's fair to say. And of course
pretty well matched height-wise. They're both standing there about 5'8", 5'9".
The key thing here, I think, for Joe Hurn is that he's coming up against someone who may have lost 103 fights, but he's only ever been knocked out twice.
Both came in at 11 stone 2 pounds, so they're equally matched on weight as well.
Equally matched. This is the kind of test where if Joe Hurn can deliver something impressive, he makes that extra impact on where he can go. He is still catching up. 31-year-old, 2 years the senior of Warburton.
The one thing I will say is that you'll see Joe take the fight to his opponent. He likes to suss him out, and he likes to just put a little bit of pressure on and see exactly what the guy's got in response.
And we'll see how long that takes. Certainly, you must feel you're a good fighter if you've got tassels on your shorts, and that's where we are with Joe Hurn.
Well, it's certainly making a statement of confidence, isn't it?
It's been a great night.
2 body shots straight in there. That is actually a trademark of Joe Hurn's. He does go for the body shot.
Warburton landing one little uppercut in there, rocking the head of Joe Hurn, but he brushes it off. Just one letting him know that he's not going to have it all in his own way. Shout of relax comes from the crowd. He's just trying to do that now. But again, that uppercut just breaking through the guard of Joe Hurn there from Warburton.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because Joe is very much concentrating on the body right at the moment, and Warburton is taking the advantage to come up through the middle there.
And a little bit of a stylish combination as well from Warburton. Is there something a little bit slick about the way he's going about his business? Slick being the operative word, of course, tonight with Nathan Dale, the slickster, on this canvas very shortly.
Hopefully on 2 feet on the canvas.
Oh, of course. This is already proving an interesting little test for Joe Hurn here in the opening round, of which we are well over halfway.
And one thing you will notice, I've mentioned it already, but you've seen more body punches in this fight than you have on the previous 3 or 4 fights we've had this evening all put together.
We already know about Joe Hurn's explosive power, and that wide flow there from Hurn before he gets busy and tries to get the uppercut through. Both of them quite liking that uppercut.
It's interesting that they're
And a little word there for Joe Hurn to raise his head. He's obviously been having a word with Zyphon Morris.
Or not.
Or not, indeed, yeah. Maybe we should have done that.
It's interesting, actually. This is probably the most circumspect I've seen Joe Hurn start a fight.
Well, this is competitive, and William Warburton certainly causing him a few little issues in this opening round.
It's giving him something to think about, isn't he?
The home crowd has a little bit of edginess. You know, it's not going Joe Hurn's way. A man who normally likes to get business done early, but again, that wide right hand over the top and round the corner is the one that's causing Warburton a few issues here. But again, his head's rocked back.
Yes, that was a nice, sharp, straight right from Warburton there. Just letting Joe know that he's still in a fight.
As we come to the end of the first round, and an enjoyable first round of boxing. Now we've definitely got a fight on here.
That was interesting, actually, because that 3 minutes disappeared. I mean, I wasn't expecting that bell at all. I was absorbed in the fight. So, yeah, good action from both men. Warburton seems to be just a little bit more stylish.
Certainly in these opening exchanges.
And as we mentioned earlier on this evening, Joe is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more straightforward. And I think I mentioned it when we were talking. It's going to be interesting to see if Warburton's style, the way that he can defend, the way that he can step back, suss his opponents out, let him get on with the bull in the china shop stuff and just pick him off as he comes in. This is going to be a good test for Joe.
It is indeed. He's been in the ring 124, well, more than 130 times, William Warburton. He has come away with 22 wins, and he has had a few knockouts as well. Not to be taken too lightly.
His 134th fight.
It's not bad, is it?
That's not too bad at all. Yeah, it's a middleweight contest.
A middleweight contest here for Joe Hurn.
And that's a very, very competitive division in the UK as well, in the world. But there's a nice right hander over the top from Joe there. Caught Warburton on the sort of cheek and the jaw.
Second round
had him wobbling a little bit, but Joe getting to work now.
Second round of 6, and there is renewed purpose here from Joe Hurn, who again is that wide-ranging right. The uppercut he's trying to get working too, as he gets busy pinning Warburton in the corner, and he's not got much in terms of answers.
It's interesting that we've got a fight here where we've seen a lot of action going on in the corners, not too much around the ring. We saw Zyfan and Harvey using every square inch, every square centimetre of that ring. This one seems to go from corner to corner.
And again, it's about pinning it for Joe Hurn.
Yeah.
He wants to pin Warburton in, as Warburton ends with a knee on the canvas, but just with a slight little slip, and away we go. We've got John Thaxton and Graham Everett in the corner at the same time for the first time tonight here at the Halls, back in their man. Norwich kickstop fighter Joe Hurn.
I don't know if Joe has actually got a moniker or a nickname, but one of the things that's been apparent in all the fights that I've seen him have is that if there's some sort of little infraction or whatever, we just saw that Warburton go down on one knee there, Joe always likes to start again with a sort of gentle handshake before they get stuck into it. I just wondered if we ought to call him Gentleman Joe.
Well, why not, hey Phil? Why not? He's certainly got the tassels for it. He's trying to get his word, but it's certainly Warburton coming back at Hurn there.
Yeah, he's got a long reach, isn't he?
He's
got a very rangy. There you are. He's, as we discussed earlier again, the fact that he will stand up and suss his opponent out. He's got the experience, and he's happy to sort of let Joe almost trade a few punches just so that get his feel for him, get a distance, and now he'll come out and he'll do a little bit of longer distance. There you are, using the range of his arms. There it was. I mean, that was a perfect example of what we were I was talking about there. Let Joe work him in the corner and then came out 2 or 3 good long range hits.
They're both getting a bit behind what they're throwing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Although Warburton not too fussed about having high shorts, as you normally find some fighters. Joe Hurn getting busy in that body area. Warburton comes fighting back, and there's grit in both these fighters. That's round 2, unless I'm losing count.
Yeah, that's the end of round 2, you're absolutely right. It's just interesting that there is a complete and utter difference in styles here. It really is. I was talking to Ryan Walsh just recently, and he was saying about styles make fights. and that's his mantra almost, and I've heard one or two of the others saying, but it's never more sort of apparent than in a fight like this, where completely contrasting styles. You've got one who's a fighter and one who's a boxer. That's the second time we've seen that tonight, really, isn't it?
It is indeed. And just a little bit of treatment going on to Joe Hurn's nose. I'll just try and make sure there's no blood coming over.
Adam getting to work there, one of the best cut men in the country, and he's based here in Norfolk as well. But I mean, I believe last week he was in the Middle East overseeing some bouts down there. He's a man in demand.
He is a man in demand. That's because he's very good at his job. Someone also hoping to prove they're very good at their job is Joe Hurn, as he heads into the ring for round 3 against William Warburton here at the halls in Norwich. This middleweight contest.
Warburton's picking him off a little bit. He is actually managing to get one or two of those long jabs through, and a couple of combinations there as well.
Just pinning him on the ropes there, Joe Hurn.
Joe, of course, one who likes to get inside and get the work done, and get those big swings home. I mean, he is a vicious fighter when he gets going.
It's that big right hand right around the corner, but he sends a left one in there that Warburton sticks his guard up to fend off. The uppercuts are coming in, and Hurn tries to work the body, and then one over the top on that left side of Warburton's head that's taken a fair bit of punishment over the course of these opening 3 rounds, 6 in total. And Hurn definitely forcing the issue now.
That gum shield of Warburton's almost looks like he's sticking his tongue out.
It does, and it looks like he's got a lot of blood in his mouth as well. So
it's, I've not seen a gum shield quite like that before. I know that you can get some pretty fancy ones these days. You can get them with the flag on and all the rest of it, can't you? And I forget who it is. One of the local boxers has shark's teeth on his gum shield.
Well, why wouldn't you?
It might even be Joe, actually.
Well, Joe certainly trying to show his teeth. He'd like to be causing Warburton a little bit more damage, I think. Some big blows that just haven't quite connected, and there's one that almost sees him fling headfirst into the corner. Graham Everett takes a little step back.
Yeah, a little bit of bang heads there, I think, as well.
That says an eagerness, and there is definitely blood on the face of Joe Hurn. You see him receiving a bit of treatment to his face, and he sticks his tongue out and acknowledges a pretty good punch there from Warburton. And there is a little bit of damage to Joe Hurn's head that he's having to contend with here. The man who likes to get things finished before the time. He's going to have to try a little bit harder to break through what William Warburton's got. A nice combination there, and he's battering Joe Hurn, and there's a hush in the crowd. His hand is forced to respond. And he does respond. That's a great right hand there through the guard of Warburton.
Yeah.
Who seems to have woken the beast.
That one went through.
The uppercut slips through. Warburton comes back fighting, and we're into a proper slug.
This is the sort of fight that Joe Hurn will absolutely adore. Once it gets to this sort of stage, where they start having a proper tear-up, then that is when Joe will start to get excited. That's exactly what he wants.
The referee just takes a moment to call a pause, and the two continue. Again, blood on the face of Hurn. I think it's coming from his nose. Warburton looking a
Coming up to the bell.
A little bit fresher in the face, but he's had to take some blows in this round, and that was a strong round.
That was an interesting round, that was. I have to say, I'm happier outside the ring than inside the ring for that one.
It was a little nod, wasn't there, when Graham Everett and Donald Thaxton caught Joe Hurn's eye as he came back to his corner. A little nod and a wink, like that was hard work. No doubt about that. This is a proper test. As we said at the start, William Warburton, he may have lost a lot of fights, but out of 103 of them, only 2 of them have been knockout.
Yeah, so he's obviously someone that's got something about him, isn't he? He's not one to be pushed over easily. And he has got 22 wins on his record as well. So I mean, it's not as if he's someone that's put in the ring just to fall over.
Well, I think we can fairly say that William Warburton has got something about him.
Here we are, second half of the bout.
Round 4.
Gentleman Joe shaking hands again there.
Indeed, he does. Well, there won't be much gentleman about him from here for the next 3 minutes, he'll hope. He'll be wanting to cause William Warburton some proper pain, and again that almost wild right hand. It's been his go-to lead weapon really tonight. You can see why, out of 8 professional bouts,
You're kind of thinking just a little bit more finesse, a little bit more thought. And you'd probably get the job done just a little bit easier, you know, that those haymaker punches would actually be landing and providing some effect.
well, you can see, as I said, you can see why half of his fights have not gone the distance. And he's finished them in good time, but also when the class steps up, which I think we're getting, aren't we, with William Warburton for Joe Hurn, he has to step up too. And it's the question now whether he can raise that level and cause the same kind of damage to someone who's proving an awkward customer. There's just signs that this is getting a little tiring now for William Warburton. Just tickling the head there of Joe Hurn, who comes again with a big, wide right punch, right hand punch. Graham Everett looking intently from the corner. Words of encouragement. He wants to see Joe Hurn deliver this, the Essex fighter. But on a night like this here at the Halls, he's a Norwich fighter, training at the Kickstock gym day in, day
John
out.
Thaxton there just saying to him, jab, get the jab going, jab, get the jab going. And it's Warburton that's doing the job, and it's Warburton that's taking on the instructions.
Long fighter listening there. We've not seen much jab work from Joe Hurn so far. What we have seen is that big wide right. But again, it's big and it looks strong, but Warburton is standing up to it pretty well so far.
And to be honest with you, Michael, they're not actually landing very cleanly. If you notice, Warburton is actually getting most of his head and body away from it when it comes in. You know, so the actual hello, Joe's lost his gum shield.
Joe's lost his gum shield. His shorts are falling down a little bit, which is probably why he lost his gum shield. He needed a little bit of helping hand with his attire. Takes a moment, the crowd give him some words of encouragement.
And Gentleman Joe shakes hands.
Indeed he does. I think this Halls crowd desperate to see a bit more from Joe Hurn here. They want to see him really force this issue. And again,
he's being tagged a bit here. The jabs, I mean, if this was an amateur fight, you'd put Warburton well ahead.
But it must be hard for him to land that wide right with any accuracy. He's coming from such a long way off.
Yeah, this is where he needs a little bit more of this kind of test, where he's got to learn that a little bit. Well, they were just on the gloves, weren't they? I mean, it was almost a waste of time.
A little bit of a tickle.
It looked good, but it actually did nothing at all.
And there we go. That is the end.
I tell you what, this is a very difficult contest to score at the moment, because it's a little bit more. What should I say? Aggressive in one arena, and a little bit more punch busy in the other.
It's an intriguing fight. You can sense from the crowd they're intrigued by this. They're captivated by who's going to come out on top here, because both of them are digging in.
And at the end of the day, you see, I mean, the referee is the one that's scoring this, and if he's one that prefers aggression over, shall we say, the punch rate, then it's going to go Joe's ways. If he'd like to see a boxer who's putting the combinations together, getting in, getting out and doing the job, soaking up and with a good defence, then it's going to go Warburton's way. You know, this one's a difficult one to call. I would not like to put my neck on the line and call this one at the moment. And I know you're going to ask me to in a couple of rounds' time as well.
Certainly will, Phil. Round 5, here are the Halls. Joe Hurn taking his unbeaten professional record in against William Warburton, and he's getting busy at the start of this 5th round.
But Warburton's standing up to it, isn't it? And he's showing that he's strong as well. I mean, you notice there that whilst Joe was putting on the aggression, Warburton stood up and pushed him off, which shows that he's got some strength.
He's certainly giving it back to Hurn, and Hurn knows he's been in a battle these first.
That was a nice clean right-hander, actually, and I think that one did actually hurt Warburton.
Good moving though from Warburton. He's still around it, but another one, little one sneaked through on the chin there of Warburton. They are getting through. Joe Hurn will want them to start making an impression. Get that work in, says Graham Everett. Telling his man, Joe Hurn. He's taken one there through the guards from Warburton. He's proving a little bit awkward here. And again, three uppercuts through.
3 rights there that got through Joe's guard, although I would say that there wasn't an awful lot of power to them.
Blood again pouring from the nose of Hurn, and a one there that did get through. The home crowd calling on Hurn to get that work in. Just caught around the neck there.
Yeah, he's.
But the face of Hurn is a little bit messed up here, and that'll be encouragement.
And looking at the way that Joe was wiping it with his glove, and I think it's causing him a little bit of concern.
He's got a little way to go in this round yet.
I actually
think
think
the sixth.
I think that Joe's struggling a little bit with his breathing.
Takes another one on the face, and those punches are getting through. And again, Warburton hits one as Hurn. Warburton lands one flush on the face of Hurn as Hurn comes forward, and they're the ones that are causing the damage now.
If Joe is going for this, I actually think that Joe is hurt. I think that he's struggling with his breathing, and he knows he's got to get out.
He's trying, but again, the guard is not protecting Joe Hurn when he's in these tight situations, but he's digging in. This is intriguing stuff now between these two. Really laying it on the line, both fighters. Joe Hurn's faces the state, and he'll be looking to get back in that corner as soon as he can. Hopefully by finishing it off, but it's Warburton who's making the leg work.
And the blood on Warburton's face is actually coming off Joe Hurn's face.
15 seconds of this 5th round out of 6. One more after this.
Warburton's fancying
There's
this.
a great right uppercut slips through the guard of Warburton, and he felt that one.
Yeah, Hurn's got him there. He has actually got it, but the bell's going to come to Warburton's rescue there.
Attack was the best form of defence there for Joe Hurn. He really had to dig in because he took a few there on the nose, and the red corner's going to have to get busy with his face there.
Yeah.
6th round coming up, the final round. Where are we going into this round, Phil?
This is a difficult one to call, it really is.
Both, I mean, they've both had their moments, haven't they?
As I said,
they've both thrown good punches.
As I said to you at the intermission of the last round, it will depend on what this referee sees as the right way of calling it. Whether he's looking at a cleaner and defensive orientated boxer, or whether he's looking at the sort of more aggressive open style that we see with Joe Hurn. I really would not like to call this one at the moment. This round is a big round.
This is a big round in the career of Joe Hurn. His 9th professional bout, the 31-year-old, yet to taste anything.
Joe gives him a cuddle this time.
He's yet to taste anything other than victory, Joe Hurn. But I wouldn't mind betting this is the closest he's been pushed to that. Hence why he's coming out all guns blazing in this 6th and final round, trying to make it end. But again, the counter from Warburton. What a counter, and it caught it flush on the face of Hurn, who was rocked. But he's digging in, Joe Hurn. He knows he's got to dig in. Scratching the head from John Thaxton. He was the one who spent most of that break before the 6th round talking to Joe, telling him what he needed to do. And now he's trying to set about doing it.
Just above us here on the ring, there's nothing between these two at the moment. There really isn't. They're trading punch for punch. I mean, that was another good combination from Warburton. A good straight right there from two good straight lefts, from Joe Hurn.
Good pokes, almost jabs flush on the face of Warburton. The home crowd here at the Hall's desperate to see Joe get over the line.
Now we've got the gum shield out again.
Referee takes a moment. He won't get any TLC for the blood pouring from his nose this time, Joe Hurn. No, he'll have to do it with it.
We'll see the gentleman, Joe. There you go.
There it is. Could be for the last time.
Joe knows he's got to do a job, doesn't he?
He's almost like a bounding bear as he chased Warburton into the corner.
But that one will leave him open, you see. I mean, if he comes in there too open, swinging with wide, Warburton's going to come straight down the middle.
Warburton's been very good at countering Hurn's attack so far, and he's managed to catch him when he's come forward, obviously knowing what to expect. Again, looks like he knows what he's been expecting, and those little uppercuts from Warburton are just creeping through.
Joe's getting frustrated.
It's what's caused the damage to Joe Hurn's face. notable damage is too, as he kind of leads
Oh, he
with
went
the
in
head.
with his head there, Joe Hurn. He's going to
Referee
get,
didn't
yeah.
like that. A little bit naughty there from Joe Hurn. And again, that's that frustration, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not so much of a gentleman then, but they have the fist pump anyway. Warburton is the first to strike as they get back going. We're rapidly getting through this 6th and final round. Joe Hurn's unbeaten.
Joe's trying to do a job now. He is trying to finish him off. He knows there's another headbutt there. Warburton's given everything as good as he's getting here.
And again, that wide right.
I actually think Warburton really fancies this.
It's been a really difficult fight to score. There's not going to be much in it. And while Warburton's been pretty classy about how he's gone about things, Hurn has been the bigger aggressor, and we've seen precisely that in the 6th round. But there's been something pretty efficient about William Warburton so far, and it's been effective. Just look at the two boxers' faces, but Hurn lands a couple there.
But it wasn't without reply again, was it? Look, there's 2 more uppercuts that have come back from Warburton, and another one.
And his corner are enjoying this. There's encouragement going for Bobo. Hurn lands a big left, and that one definitely shook Warburton, who takes a deep breath.
Right on the bell.
Right on the bell. It could be the punch that saves Joe Hurn's undefeated professional record. We'll have to see.
That was the fight of the night.
What a fantastic 6th round. And they both knew they were in a fight there. Applause from the Hall's audience. They knew that was a tough examination. As tough as Joe Hurn's had, would you say?
Without any doubt. I mean, I've seen most of Joe's fights here, and that is, in fact, I think I've seen all of his fights here, and that is the toughest examination I've seen him come under, without any shadow of a doubt.
We've seen him.
As I said, I'm going to be really interested to see the way the referee calls this one.
What do you think?
I wouldn't mind being a draw.
A draw? Well, we shall see. It would be Joe Hurn's first draw, of course. He's won by 5 knockouts out of his 8 fights.
Ladies and gentlemen, now referee Gilly Parker scores the point. 58 is the draw.
There it is, you called it right, Phil. And to be honest, fair call.
William Warburton and Joe Hurn.
Regency Security proudly sponsors combat sport on Mustard TV. We keep the guard up so you don't have to.